Hi, this is Mark Tibb speaking. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
So after 8 months of hiding in the shadows, not saying boo to a goose, in fact the only thing we've really seen of him is a little bit of twerking and little bits and bobs like that. That's what Wilder's been doing. He's been hiding and allowing his fans to create conspiracy theories and try and defend his honour. In fact, they've made his honour virtually non-existent, really, haven't they, with all the kind of conspiracies. We don't have to go around all the houses for that one. But Wilder's finally come out via his Instagram, and he does what he does best, deflects. Blames other people for certain things, even though it was him and his team that allowed this contract to expire, when they were the ones who put in the expiry date. Bob Arum confirmed that, and many other things. In fact, he even mentions about Joshua as well, and he backs up everything that I ever said about Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua in this statement. I'll tell you what, we'll get straight into it, shall we? Fury, be a man. It's time for you to be a man and honour your agreement. Where's all this bullcrap of you fighting Carlos Takam instead of me? You've got to be kidding. When you were going through your darkest time, I told you that if you got yourself together, I'll give you a title shot. Being a man of my word, I gave you a title shot. When that fight was a draw, I told you I will give you the rematch. You know I was offered more money to fight Joshua than I was getting to fight you. Again, being a man of my word, I fought you like I said I would. In the rematch agreement, there was a rematch clause. Now it's time for you to be a man and honour your word. Instead of trying to weasel out of our agreement, scared people run, but a scary man will break his contract. You coward ass beat. There you go. Wilder statement. As I said, there's so many little nuggets in this one. We're going to have a field day, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what is it that I said to you guys way before? He turned down Anthony Joshua for over $100 million to go fight Tyson Fury. Less money. But the reason that he did that is for a couple of reasons, really. Number one, he was scared of Anthony Joshua. He built it and harped it that much that he had a fear that if he lost, or lost even, to Anthony Joshua, that he'd never, ever be able to come back. He'd never be able to show face after all the crap that him and his degenerate fan base put everybody through. So he never actually won that fight and turned down over $100 million. And yes, it was over $100 million. And they didn't even try to negotiate. That was the first offer. If they had tried to negotiate, who knows, maybe they've got more. And it was $100 million because Shelly Finkel confirmed it. All right. Now, as far as Tyson Fury fighting Carlos Takam, I've already covered that in a video. It's not set. We don't know this for a fact because Carlos Takam is not in the top 15. Tyson Fury must fight somebody in the top 15 unless all other of the top 15 are either turn it down or not available. Then he can start looking at outside top 15 at Carlos Takam. So it is with that one. And it's not like Wilder can really say anything to Fury. I mean, who is it that Deontay Wilder defended that belt against? Those 10 defenses or whatever it was. Against whom? Artur Spilka, Johan Duapa, Chris Arreola. Behave yourself. So Carlos Takam far more credible than any of those. So if that did happen. Now, here's the thing. Deontay Wilder. Yes, okay. He turned down Joshua. We know he was a coward. And what he wanted was Tyson Fury on his resume. Tyson Fury, who was a name, a guy who had defeated and dethroned Vladimir Klitschko. Tyson Fury, who weren't ready for a huge fight. He weren't ready to be fighting the best. Even Tyson Fury's dad said that at the time, that any decent heavyweight out there would knock out his son. John Fury's own words. And Wilder couldn't do it in the first fight. In fact, they had to screw Tyson Fury to the draw. But the point is that he took on Fury because he was a name and he weren't ready. And he still couldn't get the job done. Still couldn't do it. Okay, so he said, okay, I'll give you a rematch. Yeah, he gave him a rematch because he thought Fury couldn't improve. In fact, Wilder was saying right the way up to this rematch how that was probably the best that Tyson Fury was ever going to be. And that was the worst that we've ever seen him. So in the rematch, there's no way. Tyson Fury, he's got pillows for fists. He's going to walk through his punches, this, that and the other. And got battered for it. He got bounced up and down off that canvas like a basketball. He really did. So yet again, it's a cherry pick that went wrong. Now, okay, so he can say, well, I didn't have to give you the rematch. Well, you kind of did because it was you that wanted the rematch anyway. Just that you and Tim Fury at the time didn't bank on a draw happening. Didn't bank on Tyson Fury getting screwed. So that draw, it is what it is. But you still saw Fury as weak. Especially when he went and fought Tom Schwartz and went life and death with Otto Wallin. That's why you did it. And Wilder and Fury had this agreement that they were going to freeze out Anthony Joshua for the next Lord knows how long. It's all part of the political games that Deontay Wilder was playing. But Tyson Fury was playing his own game, and Wilder didn't see it coming. Now Fury is the one looking to be fighting Anthony Joshua for mega money, for undisputed. Wilder's out the picture for a minimum of the next year or so. Minimum. Because Fury and Joshua will take up the next year, year and a half with their fight. Plus their fights in December, of course. So Wilder is what it is. At the end of the day, what he really needs to be doing is looking at his own team. They are the ones who put in the extension date. They are the ones who put in the deadline date. They are the ones who knew what the date was and they let it expire. They let it expire. Why do you let it... Wilder could have got hold of his team and said, I don't care about the money. I don't care if it's pay-per-view. I don't care if there's a crowd. I don't care about none of that. I'm going to beat Fury. But he didn't do any of that. Do you know why he didn't do any of that? Because he was scared. The reason he was scared is because he got humiliated and embarrassed by Tyson Fury. And he's allowed his degenerate fan base to make up all kinds of conspiracies about Tyson Fury. The gloves, the water, the throwing of the towel for Mark Breland was paid off by a member of Team Fury. And the list goes on. The costume was too heavy. Wilder, you need to grow up, mate. Honestly, you need to grow up because this is just absolutely pathetic. You're calling him a coward. What, this guy who was in no fit condition to go to Los Angeles and take you on the first time round, that guy's a coward. Not only that, he also gave you a rematch. Remember, he's lineal. Remember, the reason why the Ring magazine was on the line was because of Tyson Fury. But he was the one who, again, fought you in your country and battered you to the point where you had to have the towel thrown in. And you're calling this guy a coward. You're the one who's been sat out there twerking. You're the one who's been in no man's land. You're the one who's been quiet, not Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's openly said, I want Deontay Wilder next. As much as the rest of the world didn't want to see it again because we know who the better man is. You need to be looking at your own team. You need to be looking at yourself. But as I said, he's got this fan base who will back up. And they'll probably make videos now going, yeah, see, it was Tyson Fury's fault. See, Deontay Wilder wants to fight. Well, if he wanted to fight, there was a fight not happening. How can you let a contract expire? Why are you not suing Tyson Fury if there's a breach of contract? Why? Because he knows he never wanted to fight. It's as simple as that. It's what Wilder does. He deflects. He blames everybody else because he has backup from these YouTubers who will back him up no matter what it is that he says. No matter what it is that he does. Because he is their last chance. The day that Wilder says, I'm retiring, is the day these guys are finished. Simple as that, really, isn't it? Wilder, you bottled it. Wilder, you are the coward, not Tyson Fury. You're the coward for allowing people to come out with these conspiracies. You're the coward for not coming out and having interviews. You're the coward for not coming out and saying anything other than your king is still here. The war has just begun. Calling your own fan base peasants and they lap it up. Lap it up like sheep. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.